Hello and welcome to the Heroes by the Pint podcast. This is a Nerd Life podcast under the influence of craft beer. We are the glassy-eyed geeks and we invite you to grab something cold in a bottle or can and crack it open and enjoy it with us.
Yeah, nice.
Man,
It's been a while.
that was like
That's right.
synchronized.
Chelsea's first time in the studio.
How's it feel?
Pretty foreign.
Yeah, we Chelsea and I had done Free Comic Book Day, and then it's been like a party.
Yep.
Like a non-stop, like, Heroes by the Pint party.
She's getting the scenic tour. Now she realizes she's in a deep space.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
Hey,
it
hey.
seems real sketchy.
She's like, where's the well?
Right. Studio.
Studio. In our Delaware headquarters, it's the studio, basically.
Right. I'm your host, Matthew Ellis. Joining me is Marcus Stevenson. That's right. And Chelsea Caslow.
Hey.
How you guys feeling?
Flossy right now.
Yeah. I feel like I just binge watched 2 seasons of Luke Cage.
Well, you know what? That's like I want to get into that. We're going to start doing something a little new at the top of the show. So we're going to give kind of like our weekly rundown or something, just like what's been going on. But yeah, I was actually like, I was interested to see how you would react to this, because this is like your first task with the cast where it's been like, homework, and it's like non-stop. So like every waking minute you're like, I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm like watching like 5 minutes of it. I'm like, okay, I gotta like, let me go try to get down to the basement another 5 minutes, because I mean, you had said this season of Luke Cage is the longest running MCU Netflix show.
Yes, I looked it up.
Yeah.
And it is long.
Yeah, it
Man,
was
you guys
long.
didn't hear it.
Longest running meaning like per episode time.
But yeah, I got some pretty funny stuff to tell you. So I had a daddy-daughter day with my daughters yesterday, and we went and saw The Incredibles. It was really fun. Great movie. Kind of strangely visual at times when the villain showed up. I had heard like it's possibly causing some like epileptic seizures, and I was like, huh. And then I saw the villain, and I was like, girls, cover your eyes. Like, the lights were flashing. I was closing my eyes. I was like, I thought I was going to wig out.
This is no joke.
It's like a Kmart blue light special.
Yeah, it was intense, but great movie. I got to get your guys' reaction on this, man. What are you thinking about all the love Elastigirl's getting, man?
Old Holly.
Yeah, old Holly Hunter.
It's about time.
Well, no, Holly Hunter's great, but I mean, all I'm seeing all over the internet are like fools in love with this cartoon Elastigirl because she's thick.
People are into that.
Is she thick?
She's thick.
It's like, we talked about this already.
She can yo-yo.
Well, we've been there. I know we're about to talk about Iron Fist eventually, but...
Oh, yeah. Every episode. Every episode. I'm sitting here. I'm the host, man. I run the show, man. Every episode we talk Iron Fist. But from that, honestly, what I want to get to is...
Did you like it, though?
I did.
Yeah.
Everyone go see it. Take your kids, or go see it by yourself. It was an awesome superhero comic, cartoon. DreamWorks, DreamWorks.
Pixar.
Yeah, Pixar.
Yeah, or that other company that's like way more popular than DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Still favorite Incredibles moment is the OG when Frozo, or it's, his name's
Frozone.
Frozone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, where is my super suit?
Yes. Like, it's not even
Like the
Frozone.
real struggle. You know that happens to them.
Yeah.
It happened to us at here just recently. I'm like, Chelsea, you got your shirt? And she's like,
I was like,
bring me another. But yeah, we go out and I spent the whole day with my daughters, and my wife tagged along at certain times, which was great. We had a fun family day, and we were getting ice cream in the evening, and I was getting ice cream for the girls, and Courtney was getting some. And I was like, no, Daddy's not going to get any ice cream. I'm going to drink more beer later, because I still had to binge watch like 8 episodes of Luke Cage. And my daughter to the ice cream shop, this old lady, small little ice cream parlor here in Delaware. She just speaks up, and Hazel, she's like 3, and she's like, Dad, you just drink too much beer.
Your retort should have been, It's because I'm super incredible.
I just, it just like, the ice cream parlor attendant like lost it, and I'm just like, thanks for putting me on blast. I thought I've been doing pretty good. I just told Courtney today, I was like, man, we're down to like a 4-pack in the fridge. I've had a case of beer up there for months on end. So, yeah, apparently I drink too much beer.
Dude, my son, I forgot his snack one day at preschool, and I had to go to Kroger to pick it up and take it back to the preschool. And while I was gone, he told his teacher, well, the reason my mom forgot the snack was because all she buys at the store is dog food and beer.
Guys, this is like
I
the
was
sequel
like,
to Bad
dude.
Mom. It's like
Right?
bad people.
So, you got
My kid can't talk yet.
Yeah, wait, you just
I don't know his inner thoughts that way.
My wife put her mom on blast one time when she was just little, and she was telling the neighborhood that her mom could drink a 15-pack. And I was like, my girl.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, bring it in, moms. I got a 15-pack in the back of the van.
Oh, that didn't sound creepy.
No.
Not at all.
Sound better if I said car? Or
Yes.
Van.
Fan.
Yeah, van.
Fan.
Van for sure.
Bring it in, moms.
Bring it in, moms.
Well, and I know you have like a paneled van. It's not like there's no windows.
Oh, no. So they've all been painted over.
Day one.
Yeah.
Actually, a true story. I bought a van one time for $450 in the bottoms in Columbus. It had bullet holes in it. It was awesome, and it ran forever until I sold it for an ounce of weed.
That's what happened.
You were like, man, these bullet holes come standard.
And the funny thing is like one of them was from the inside, because like, way to protect yourself.
Protect yourself.
You have anything fun this weekend?
Yeah, the wife and I went to see Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Oh my god, how was it?
It was okay,
Oh.
just okay.
It's like all
I mean, I enjoyed it. Like the first.
I was really hoping for a
Right,
change.
right. The first Jurassic Park. I mean, everyone loves
I love
for
them,
obvious
so,
reasons.
yeah.
First time I saw a dinosaur on screen, other than Land Before Time. But this one, I mean, I don't know.
Depends on how
They
you
had
classify
a monster. Thanks, a
Right.
monster, a reptilian monster. No, it was good. It was fine. It was fine. It made a lot of money, a boatload of money this
Yeah.
weekend.
Really?
It's fine.
Yeah.
150 million domestically in its opening weekend.
That's crazy.
So it's crushing Solo already.
Yeah, it's about halfway solo.
Poor Han.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Han.
Yeah.
And not doing well. All right. Yeah, we're gonna jump into the beer read here in just one moment.
What are we drinking?
We're going to jump into the show rundown in just one moment, but before we do that, Chelsea is going to hit us with the beer read.
All right, we're drinking the North High Brewing Company Pale Ale. And in this dry hopped pale ale, Mosaic and Nelson Sauvin hops harmonized to create a refreshingly crisp, bold, and eminently drinkable beer. This beer won an award. It's the Silver Award, World Beer Cup 2016.
Wow.
I'd still give it one this year.
This is honestly one of my go-to summer beers.
Yeah.
North High, the pale ale just crushes. Super like citrusy, just low alcohol. I mean, was it running at like 5.5
It's
or
running at
something?
5.5.
This
Yeah.
is my speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like super crushable. You can sit there and drink them all day, enjoy yourself, and
15 pack of them.
That's right, 15-pack.
Yes.
A 15-pack.
A 15
no
crush, a
doubt.
15-pack. Well, we were talking about Sauvin hops, and it's a New Zealand hop, which makes it crispy.
Oh,
Makes it
yeah.
citrusy. Yeah.
Do.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, before we jump into the show rundown, we're going to kick it over right now to our beer correspondent. This segment is sponsored by Shirts on Tap. You can head over to their website, shirtsontap.com. Before you check out, make sure you enter that promo code, which is HBTP. You'll get $13 off your first box package, and that's coming in at just $5 after that discount. It's a great deal, great company, great shirts, and open you up to a bunch of breweries across the U.S. All right, we are coming at you, Flora.
All right, we are joined by Sarah Flora. She is out in LA right now, but moving to Washington State very soon. We're super excited to have her as our beer correspondent for the next 30 days, and she is rocking the Heroes by the Pint shirt. You can follow her at Flora_brewing on Instagram and get inspired, man. You're always brewing some great beer. And today we are drinking the North High Pale Ale. So why don't you go ahead and crack that open with us and let us know what you think. Oh, that sounded beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very citrusy beer. I believe it says on the can it's a medal winner or something.
Nice color. Yeah, it's got a little citrus scent. Maybe a little pine. This phone go down a little bit. Not my best pour.
It is beer mail.
Very good. It's slightly bitter, but it's got a really nice finish. It's like not too dry, but it's like kind of right up my alley. Very drinkable. I would definitely like take this outside once we're done recording and go sit in the sun with it.
Yes, perfect summer beer, super crushable. I think it comes in at like 5.5%, so it's like the perfect summer beer. Very, like I said, very crushable. If you're going to hit that with a bottle cap ratings, what would you give it out of 5 bottle caps?
I'd probably give it a 4.3. Definitely a good one. Would definitely buy it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll pass that along to North High. They are some good friends of ours. Great brewery here in Central Ohio. I just want to say from me and the rest of the Glassy Eye crew, thank you so much, Sarah, for sitting down with us. Once again, you can find her at Flora_brewing on Instagram. And looking forward to sitting down with you here in a couple of weeks for the Ant-Man and Wasp episode, and you're going to be getting some beer sent over to us, and we're excited to try some of your home brews and everything else.
Got them all packaged for you.
Awesome, awesome. We cannot wait. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, thank you so much for that, Flora. We hope you really enjoy all the beer that we mailed out to you, and we know that you're loving this North High Pale Ale as much as we are. I mean, she hit it with a 4.3 grade. What are you hitting in bottle cap, Chelsea?
I mean, for like a nice session IPA, I'd give it like a 4.5. Plus, it's a Columbus beer, so you gotta get behind that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some love, some love. Yeah, I'm right there, 4.5. This is, like I said, one of my favorite go-to summer beers. Where are you at, Marcus?
I'm going to give our correspondent Flora some love. I'm going to go with the 4.3. Flora, we love you. Thanks.
That's right, that's right. She's going to be coming back at us on, it's going to be the Ant-Man and Wasp episode.
Oh, yeah?
We're super excited. Yeah, she's sending us some homebrew. She's sending us a
Ooh.
tangerine wheat ale.
Yum.
Yeah, and
Sounds
a
like patio
grapefruit IPA. That's right, patio pounder. I like that. So we're super excited to be working with Flora for the next 30 days, and it seems the way things have broke down with our beer correspondents, we get to sit down with them twice in 30 days because we've been busy, kids.
So busy.
Yeah. Yeah. That, like I said, that Chelsea, you've been doing this for almost 2 months now. This is your first time in the basement
Actual
studio.
basement, yeah.
Right,
Your mom's upstairs making meatballs.
Right, drinking a 15 pack. So, like, because we have been hustling nonstop. I mean, we've been at Seven Sun endlessly there, it seemed like, for a month, preparing for the drink and draw. And then it was just like the unplug the week before the drink and draw, and then the unplug after the week of the drink and draw. Cause,
And we were hoof-hearted before.
yeah, and that was, I mean, I needed to take a week's vacation after that hoof-hearted.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We did take a week's vacation after
You know, we handled it just like Deadpool would have.
You mean drink too much and be surly?
Like the cocaine part.
Yeah, wait, no, but like other drug, the cocaine part. No, not the like.
Not the alcohol.
I've said this. No one really got to see this on tape, and the Deadpool edit was slightly easier than the Seventh Son edit. But at one point we have another beer fan, I believe John from Virginia. He brings us this 32-ounce
Oh, yeah.
beer
Right.
called The Answer.
It
It's
was.
brewed by The Answer. And I look over and Chelsea just grabs this thing and cracks it open. I mean, it's like taking it to the head, and I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You're getting down.
Yeah, we were not stopping that day.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Marcus, what are we going to be talking this week?
Luke Cage. We got Luke Cage, season 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. My man, Bushmaster coming at us.
Yeah, from Jamaica, man.
That's right.
Indeed.
Yeah, you know, he had it down with that like side like.
He did. He absolutely did. He did.
I've been walking around like saying, "Rude boy,"
Yes.
like nonstop, nonstop. Before we jump into the episode, we'd like to urge each and every one of you to head over to heroesbythepint.com. Over there, you'll find a backlog of all of our old episodes, as well as links over to all of our social media websites and links over to wherever you prefer to listen to your podcast, Stitcher, iTunes. You can listen to it and download it right on our site as well. All right, we thank you so much for the support, and as Marcus says, keep it 5-star.
Keep it 5-star. Keep
All
it
5.
5-star.
That's
We
right.
put up 10, but that's okay. Marcus and I both were like,
5.
I love how we did that at the same time.
I know,
we
we were
didn't
like-
even know we were going to do that.
that's why he's separated.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You're in sync. You're in sync. All right, jumping into
Let's get
Luke
into it.
Cage.
Yeah.
Luke.
I think the best way is probably going to handle this because the, as you were saying, Chelsea, earlier off air, one of your biggest complaints was the length of the shows,
Yes.
and you thought maybe it was a little unnecessary at times. I
So we're
didn't really
doing a
feel that.
13-part series here.
We're going to do, the first 4 episodes are going to be all character development.
Maybe let's take it character by character.
That sounds
Since we're
good.
That's a
talking
good
character
idea. I mean,
development.
we should probably start with Luke Cage because his character shifted a lot from season 1 to season 2.
And especially by the end,
Yes.
you know, you're
Like,
seeing like
whoa.
this. Yeah, you're seeing this different side, and he gets called out. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea, start us off. Start us off with Luke.
For me, Luke Cage season 1 was more like a Batman figure. He was like in the shadows.
Yep.
You know, he's like functioning kind of incognito. And season 2,
I like that in season 1 too because he was an ex-con.
yes.
So he was worried. Like there was like
There was purpose to it.
yeah, there was this manipulation between Cottonmouth, who I loved
Good
as
actor.
like yes, yeah, Marshala Ali.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that dude. I was so heartbroken in season 1
Yes.
when he was offed way too early, in my opinion, because he was a much stronger villain than Diamondback, or the way Cottonmouth, Cornelius, like Cornell,
Yeah.
all the names.
Yeah.
All those names. Oh, they're all snakes because they're all from like, what is it, the Serpent Squad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Even Bushmaster was like if you see him in the comic, he looks like a frog.
Well, I think Bushmaster's brother, Quentin, or something, is the one who
He literally has like a toad head. Which would
Well,
have been dope.
I'm glad you deviated.
right. And created a real man.
Right.
Yeah. So jumping back into Luke
We didn't
Cage,
want to see
as you're
Killer
saying.
Croc again.
Right.
Battletoads.
Right.
He definitely was a you know, like he was living underground. He was powerful and protecting Harlem, but like nobody really knew who he was.
Yeah.
And season 2, it's like he's like LeBron James. Like he's walking around Cleveland like, "What's up?" You know.
Right,
So
he's out in the public.
yeah, so he's out in Harlem and he's like literally strutting multiple times down the street.
What did you say off the air, Marcus?
Strutting like what? Like what did I say? No.
I mean, it was like John Travolta.
Oh yeah, it was like every Beats headphones commercial over the past 3 years.
It was.
It's like, you can tell everybody, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
Yes. And I said you could have made a whole 1-hour episode that was just a montage of all the moments that he posed like a superhero, acted like a, I'm the coolest ever, and high-fived people in the streets of Harlem strutting. Like, he definitely, in this season, is openly, not to jump to, like, the very end, but, the sheriff of Harlem. Like, he is there to protect the people and
Cool name.
Right? Yeah.
Sheriff.
The
of Harlem.
sheriff of Harlem.
So, sounds way cooler than the sheriff of like Texarkana.
Yeah, and not to jump all around, but there's a lot of moments in this season that are like a western set to Wu-Tang.
Oh, yes. So
like even the showdown on the bridge, they're just like it's like a western.
It had a little bit of Tarantino there.
It did.
Like the whole like. Did
like
you know?
Been like,
first couple of episodes were on purpose like that. Like I read some interviews later. Lucy Liu directed the first two episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she said she took a little bit of the Tarantino flavor from Kill Bill, that whole Wu-Tang, that hip hop, Shaolin type.
Well, how about when Luke Cage? This episode is definitely going to be a little more, as you said, we're going to jump around a little bit more. We're going to talk about each character and kind of focus on them, as opposed to running the story from start to stop, because it would just take way too long to run each episode. But as you're talking about like the Western set to Wu-Tang, how about when he calls up Bushmaster and he's like, "You and me on the bridge," and then Bushmaster's like, "I know. Boy, I was not in Westerns."
It was awesome. And they have a standoff like a Western. They walk toward each other.
By.
Honestly, I really appreciated some of the, when you look at like the filming of this whole season, they were pretty like 75-80% of it was like your typical what you expect to see in a TV show like this. But they took some risks with just how they filmed the series, and that was one of those moments where they like pan in on this like Western showdown, and there are a lot of moments where the filming, like the elements that they used artistically, were really really cool.
Yeah,
it was definitely visually awesome.
Knew it was going to be. I mean, that's the part I love about Luke Cage. I mean, going like my impressions of like the character of Luke. I mean, I agree. I kind of like how he in the first he was like more incognito, but it's almost by necessity he had to be more out in the public this time.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if you think storyline wise, with like the emergence of social media, phones, like he's not going to be able to be hidden forever. And it was weird, like to see him try to embrace that, but unsuccessfully.
I mean, the fool's got his own app.
Right,
who
is it? DK that's always hustling his shirt. DW.
Yeah.
I know it's only call him Diddy Kong.
I mean, dude, they got the Heroes for Hire, or the Harlem Hero app.
Yeah.
You can follow Luke Cage around.
It comes complete with a pizza tracker.
I'm saying.
That's how Danny finds him. He's like, Harlem for Heroes.
The Hero Harlem.
Right. He's like, I told you we should have copyrighted that.
Well, like Chelsea is just saying, like the length, because sometimes you jump into some of these Netflix episodes and like you'll hit one that's like 43 minutes or 40 minutes, and every one of those, what did you say the average was?
The average was like 68 minutes.
So do you think if they cut out a little bit of the strutting, and I feel like they could have cut out 10% of the selfies?
10% of the selfies.
There was a lot of selfies.
There was strutting and selfies.
And to be honest, I mean, honestly, at least the first 6 episodes were character development, which MCU is really good about character development, and that's nice because you really understand in depth like each role of each person, even down to like shades, And
one of my favorites.
Yeah, you put on sunglasses, you're a badass.
Oh, dude. You want to talk about
especially if you're inside.
You want to talk and driving at night.
Right. It's like a blues brother, but
in a better fitted suit. Right. That dude had more scenes, I think, than anybody in theatrical history of removing his glasses dramatically and putting them back on.
Like they could have cut that and some of the like literal like superhero moments where Luke Cage is just like posing and then strutting, and it would have been much shorter and equally enjoyable. But apparently we enjoyed those moments because we're laughing about them.
I was talking about this. We'll get into some rankings here in a little bit. I would say that season 2 of Luke Cage is probably my second favorite MCU.
Number
Netflix.
2?
Yeah.
Behind what?
MCU Netflix.
MCU Netflix.
But still spiritually Arrow.
It's definitely not like Iron Fist.
I was going to say, if
season
you
one.
say Iron Fist or the Defenders, I'm going to punch you.
I
was like, he
liked
was
the
gonna say
Defenders.
Oh.
Defenders, like I loved it because I love those characters together. You don't?
Okay.
He tried.
This is like the nerd in me coming out.
We're still getting to know Chelsea.
Yeah. Netflix and,
Get off the line.
Get out of here. Get out of my basement.
Walk upstairs.
Netflix created that those particular characters functioning together. Like if you look at the comic books, they were
it's
never.
not. No.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, that's not the Defenders.
But I love
The Defenders were this
that
like group that was so powerful they had to disband because they might make the world explode because of how powerful they were. Like, and so they throw together like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, all these guys, and it's a cool group of like ragtag people, which is I'm all about like the land of misfit toys, but it doesn't follow the comics at all. So of course that goes like right up my spine.
It doesn't follow the comics, but I love the way that they marketed it as where the Guardians guard the galaxy, the Avengers avenge the world, and the Defenders defend the streets. Like so, I like how they like made.
You just
them
made
like
a poster.
I know. I feel like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love the way they marketed it. They
Did
did
you
a great
think about
job.
that? You thought it.
I didn't think about that. Someone,
Do you think about that all the time?
no, that's like a marketing. Like
You
that's
saw
like
that
that
on
was
Reddit.
out there. Yeah, that was out there. Some marketing.
So I'm
sorry,
using
can't
that for
forget.
podcast 74.
Right.
Maybe Jessica Jones season 1. I'm so far removed from Daredevil right now, and that's one of the complaints that I do have with Luke Cage, along with Daredevil and Danny Rand. And outside of Jessica Jones in the Defenders group is like, me and Marcus have talked about it in depth before with like Daredevil, especially like the sense of morality. It just like brings the show down. Like Luke Cage going and saving Mariah. And it's just like, how many times? I mean, that was like 3 times in this season
Yeah.
that he saved her
Yeah.
when she, and then she goes on a murdering spree. He's like, I'm an idiot.
But, like, honestly, and not to step outside of the MCU, Mariah is the Joker to Batman for Luke
I was
Cage.
just gonna say that.
With-
That'd be like, it's like you just described every comic ever.
Yeah, and we just talked about Batman 49, and Joker even says this in the comic, but he's like, without me, like,
You don't exist.
You don't exist. And so if Mariah's gone, that's why. Oh man.
Otherwise,
we're
Batman's
jumping.
going
We're
out to
jumping because I'm
It's
like,
alright.
Let's jump.
Let's have fun.
I'm in episode 13 right now. But when he gets the club,
Yeah.
right? And do you remember the scene where he goes over to the window and he stands in front of the Biggie
Yeah.
picture and the crown's on his head, just like it was for Cottonmouth and Mariah.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh man. And then he walks over to the round window and he's overlooking the crowd, and you're thinking like, oh my god, he's teetering on like good
He's having
level.
an Anakin
He's-
moment.
This is yes.
Well, I mean,
And I was like, what is going to happen? And they want you to feel that
Yeah.
way. But the whole season, Luke Cage struggles with a couple of things. He struggles with his anger. He struggles with the concept of family, and he struggles with honestly how he can fight for good outside of the law. And now he's given this club that represents all this like evil, honestly. And he's like, no, we can make this good. And he's even cautioned at the end by Misty, right? Who's like, just because she gave it to you, you didn't have to take this. Like, he's in a position now where he's not wearing the yellow t-shirt and the hoodie anymore.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's in a gold suit. He looks like every villain that's ever been on the screen before him, before that. And he's standing at the same window in front of the same picture. And then he puts up that Muhammad Ali picture. And you're like, okay, like, he's trying, but can he do it in the confines of, like, what he's allowed? And functioning as, like, a vigilante outside of the law in Harlem, you're like, is he going to end up on, like, the wrong side of all this? And he's talking to, what's the guy's name, Suge?
Yeah, Sugar.
Yeah, and so he's, he's just teetering. And they leave you in a
having
place
very
where
much
he's
that
teetering.
same, like, kind of conversation with Suge where he's like, Suge's bringing him information and
But it's, like, secretive.
Missy's leaving,
Right.
And I want Marcus to get Marcus's take in here on, like, how...
I just think we should end the podcast.
Right there.
That was the best breakdown I've ever heard.
Well, what
Like, she had me engaged. I'm like,
It was like Marcus is looking at me and I can't tell if I'm saying all the wrong things or all the right things.
nah, man, like this psychoanalysis was insane. I was like, what?
what I loved, we said DW.
Yeah.
DW. When DW
Not
calls
DK.
him, not DK. When DW calls him out, and he's like, "If you're the boss of crime, you're a crime boss. Get out of Pop's
And he calls
barber
him
shop."
he calls him basically the Trump of
Yeah. He said like
Harlem, and that's like to someone like Luke Cage, who at least in season 1 was like, we don't say the N word. We are protecting Pop's barbershop. Like that. And honestly, he even calls it his lair when he's talking to Danny.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, do you like my lair? And
Can't
now,
wait to get into
I know, right?
Iron Fist
And
stuff.
now his lair is this huge nightclub that has represented like every corrupt person that he's been fighting.
And Mariah playing him till the end because she
Yes.
knew it's going to get the best of him, but.
So Luke Cage, to continue with the character development of Luke Cage, it's complicated.
Yeah,
Like he is, you know, he's gone from this person in hiding figuring out his abilities to where he's public with it, and now that he's public with it, he's on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
The whole season.
It's a way more complex Rocky 3.
Yeah.
I think they did a much better job handling the development between Luke and his father than they did with Jessica and her mother in season 2 of Jessica
Agreed.
Jones. Because like season 2 of Jessica Jones just didn't give me. I know you enjoyed it, Marcus.
I did. I really did.
But
I think, like Chelsea said something earlier about all these Netflix series, MCU shows being a little longer.
Yeah.
I think when we talk about the ranking, I came on the theory, like, they are long, but there's a lot of episodes, and there's a lot of burner episodes.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a reason why you can't remember Daredevil, there's a reason why you can't remember some of these series, is because I feel like there's too many episodes, too many burner episodes, and they're not holistically memorable.
see, I disagree.
There's moments that are memorable.
I disagree
There's
that
like a
they're-
line, like you get every now and then. As soon as you think like, all right, this is getting kind of boring, they hit you with a line.
Yes.
And it's a quotable line, like I mean, even at the end, there was like a Spider-Man moment where his dad says to him, "With this amount of power comes a significant level of pain."
right.
And it was like with great power comes great
Yeah, sure.
responsibility moment. But you're like, it's got that twist on it, and especially playing into his struggle. I just think in general in life, emotionally, like how to balance who he is and what he stands for. The concept of it coming with literal pain to someone who doesn't, someone who like in the comic book feels pain, but I mean in the show, I mean he's like, boom, boom,
Right.
boom.
Yeah,
You know,
killed
no
someone
bullets.
with his left pectoral.
He feels
arm.
nothing. So
He
it's,
ricocheted a bullet
Yeah.
into somebody. See, I disagree. I don't think there's as many burner episodes with Netflix, but you're also coming from someone who does enjoy like the CW shows where there's 23 episodes. You
Yeah.
know? Like there's a lot of filler. I feel like with these Netflix series, there's about like 2 episodes that like kind of get a little long-winded, but I feel like they hit pretty quick.
Season
But
1
review
felt burner. Like there were lots of burners, but season 2 was more. Maybe it was because you're juggling like 3, quote villains, or maybe 2 villains and 1 anti-hero.
There are multiple plot lines.
But it's
Yes.
there was just again so much character development, and then you're so invested in these people that it
As we're talking about the time, and you're just saying, possibly 3 villains. Let's jump into the next character.
Yes.
And Marcus, how'd you feel when Bushmaster stepped on the scene?
I felt like he was the hidden character DJ in Street Fighter 2.
Accurate.
And his fighting style was unbelievable.
Oh, it was awesome, dude. And we were just talking off air. The line that he drops after he knocks out Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm the stone that the builders refused." And he's like, man, I just love
That whole scene, the way that was done when he knocked Luke Cage out, like
Yeah.
at the end, I believe, of episode 4, and then into the beginning of episode 5.
Correct.
The way they filmed that end, and then the way they opened at the beginning, I was like, oh, that was so cool. The way to introduce him to Luke Cage in that way, like, and being a badass, it was just awesome.
Well, and the literal filming, like I know I don't usually harp on that with anything because I'm like, ooh,
Right.
that was a cool story. And even though I'm into art, it was artistically filmed. Like this whole season was so. They just had these small moments where they took some risks with filming, and it made it really, really cool.
When he first saw, at that moment, when he got knocked out, Luke seemed a little disoriented. I was confused at this part. He seemed a little disoriented before he got knocked out. Why? And his vision was a little blurred. Why was that?
Well,
I couldn't recall
him and Claire
exactly what was going on.
This is actually going to go back to my point on Luke Cage. We didn't even get into like the NFL tryout when he's trying to like raise money, which I at that part I was like, man, this is so weak. I was like, you want to talk about cutting some stuff out. So he throws a 400-pound tire clear across the 300 yards across this field, and then him and Claire are having it out, and he punches a plaster wall. And it
It took him 3 punches.
Yeah, and the way they filmed it, it was like you could
an earthquake.
Right, it was like the building was shaking, but he barely got through. Like he should be able to like blow that wall apart, But,
I mean, I could.
So wait, you guys didn't like the NFL tryout part?
I did not.
That
like
was
the
your
NFL
favorite,
tryout
wasn't it?
part.
Well, no. Shout out to 2017 Sports Writer of the Year, Jamel Hill.
I'm good with that. So yeah, I was not good with that part, but so yeah, him and Claire had it out. So he's just like inside his own head. I don't know if his vision was really blurry, but like he's just inside his own
They
head.
had it out throughout the entire, well, at least first 5 episodes.
Yeah. Well, and she's giving him solid advice. I mean, throughout. To be honest, she's almost
she's right about everything.
Right, she's right about everything, and I don't know if you guys know, she's like probably not doing season 3.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, and so this gets into the whole crown on the head, Biggie Smalls picture thing, where he could potentially be teetering. She, I think, for him represents a voice of reason, and he's going to move into this next season, and I don't think that he's going to have that, and so that makes his whole situation even more wobbly,
Right.
And so I think that moment where his vision's kind of blurry, and he's in a moment of vulnerability, which is why when he gets attacked, he's out cold, and obviously, like, he got attacked by someone of basically equivalent strength,
Equal power.
Yeah.
Mustafa Shakir.
Yeah,
He
nailed it.
Yeah, he crushed it, man. Bushmaster to me is the most in-depth villain that the MCU, whether big screen or small screen, has developed. I think he's like, he blows Killmonger out of the water.
Yeah.
Like his.
Oh, Marcus is out. Bye, Marcus.
Dude, his
We love
story. You haven't seen it yet. You haven't even finished. This is going to be all spoiler for Marcus too. Seriously, Bushmaster's story is 10 times more heartbreaking.
You end up rooting for him the whole time.
The entire time. You're just like, Luke, get the hell out of the way, dude.
Yeah.
Let Bushmaster handle his shit.
Well, I mean, like first 5 episodes, I don't feel like he's the villain even in the first 5 episodes. I feel like he is, well, the anti-hero. It's the perfect way to say it.
Well,
like he's going to play that role. I felt like that.
Yeah.
I did not feel like he was like the essence of evil.
Right.
Well, and they didn't go into this in the show. Like, we talked about how it's not really clear how he gets his powers, and he's like sniffing herbs, and
Right.
he ends up really, really strong. But at least
I was never that powerful when I sniffed her.
me either. Must have been the
I
right
was.
kind. But in the comic, Noah Burstein, who's the doctor that basically alters Luke Cage, he takes a risk. He's like, Luke, we're going to try this out, and you're going to be real strong and super. And he ends up like a father figure. Bushmaster goes to him in the comics and is like, I want what he has. And he creates...
Makes him a bullfrog?
He turns him into a bullfrog.
sounds riveting.
So in a weird way, and without them really saying it, they're kind of like cut from the same mold.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's indicated in the show without them going through that whole backlog of how it came to be. But they say over and over, like, somebody who could knock you out with their bare hands is someone we should be worried about, Luke. It's like, this is someone who's at least equal or equivalent to you. So I think that that's important because he is someone who's like, he's not a super villain. He's not a villainous.
No. He's not. I don't find him villainous at all. I mean, he did some hideous things in pursuit of his final plan.
He's right from a certain point of view.
But yeah, he's absolutely right, man.
He's Rick Flag, man.
I love how all the time they're like Mariah Dillard, and he's like, Stokes, Mariah Stokes, like he will not drop that name.
Right.
And that was like so powerful. And as they continue to develop him, and you see everything that he went through, like I said, I promise you, Marcus, as you finish the season.
Well, where I'm at right now, he wasn't interested in helping Mariah out. Where I'm at right now, he's not interested in that.
Luke or
Bushmaster.
oh, no, he's never interested.
No.
Okay, cool.
He's
Yeah.
strictly interested in seeing her take her last breath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
Okay,
the
cool.
only
Because
thing
he said that to Luke, I
Yeah.
believe, episode 5, where he says to Luke, like, he's not these exact words, but he's not in it with her. Like, he'd rather actually, Luke help him.
Oh yeah,
versus
yeah.
anything.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes,
There's some
yes,
other
yes,
great
that's a good line,
lines.
yeah.
That line, and then at one point his uncle is telling Bushmaster, when you go, I don't know who originally quoted this, but when you go on a quest looking for revenge, dig 2 graves.
Yes.
Like that was so awesome.
There's so many lines where you're like, man, I should tweet that.
Speaking of Bushmaster, like, can that be a name of a craft brew, please? Now?
Yes, the
Oh,
Bushmaster.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At least the craft rum.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, man, I can't wait for you to finish the season, Marcus, because the way that you see them continue to develop Bushmaster and what he went through at the hands of the Stokes family, like you said it, Chelsea, you're rooting for him. There are multiple times watching this where, like I said, I was just like, knock Luke the hell out and end
Yeah.
this woman. Like,
How many-
end Mariah. And,
So if
You
Captain,
texted me so many times, like, Bushmaster is the one.
yeah, he was on the phone like, you gotta watch it. Bushmaster's amazing.
I
And, like,
know.
he was great.
And like, I gotta be honest, Bushmaster had kind of a subtle introduction.
Very subtle.
And when he was kind of hyping Bushmaster up, like, I didn't know who Bushmaster was at first.
Right, because you're
And then
focused
also
on, like,
my-
Mariah and Shade.
And then the bullets come out, I'm like, that's Bushmaster. That's Bushmaster.
That scene. Ooh.
Whoa, that's what I'm getting ready to get into. His cousin? Is that his cousin, Nigel?
Yes.
And he just cuts that dude's eyeballs out of
That
his
scene
head.
was amazing. That scene was amazing. He like RoboCop the top of his
Yeah.
Oh,
eyes,
man.
just like yeah,
Just like-
that was great.
That's the sound right there.
So
I
Alex, you
think
said,
in this season too, there are more like
Graphic,
brutal,
yeah.
like graphic,
Yeah.
bloody murder scenes than
Oh,
maybe
good
Yes.
Netflix, yo.
any
Netflix,
Netflix.
get it.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
so
we always talk about this. We said Captain America, if drafted, would be a free safety. Black Panther would be a corner. What would Luke Cage and Bushmaster be?
I mean, if we're going that, I guess Luke Cage is fullback. Bushmaster has to be wide receiver. The dude was quick.
Bushmaster would be a wide receiver. He would. That's a good one. He's,
I mean-
he's like T.O., man.
Luke Cage even said, he's like, man, he was fast.
Yeah.
Faster than
Yeah.
I could even, like,
So even in the fight scenes, like, not to rip on Luke Cage because he's great, but he's like kind of
we saw that Wizard
fumbly.
World.
No, you're right.
He's all power, he's like, I'm coming at you with power.
Yes.
And Bushmaster's like, well, I am thinking about what you're about to do, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do, and he's more
Mixed
strategic.
martial arts,
and,
for
yes.
sure.
And
Where Luke is just like,
Yeah.
street fight.
Aggressive. I'm a dude.
Right,
I'm
right.
so happy that we're recording this. Like, visually.
I know.
See him
I
jumping.
know. I'm just over here
Street
punching
fight.
air.
Earlier when you're like, he's walking around, he's like, pew, pew,
It's like Fembot.
Yeah.
so good. And who calls my man Luke Cage out on this?
What do you
But
mean?
my main dude, Danny Rand,
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
knocks him
God.
on his rear and is like, you're off balance.
Marcus
You're-
and I are rolling our eyes. He's like, your chakras aren't aligned.
Yeah.
Your heart chakra is way out of line.
You're like, you're not you're fighting with anger. You're not like,
I love that Danny Rand took his shoes off when he went into Pops.
oh yeah, because Pops is Switzerland, man.
I know, man.
Pops is Switzerland.
Pops is the best.
Oh man.
Well, that's why I'm upset about the club, because I feel like he switched layers, and that's not cool.
Agreed.
No, it's not
And
cool.
Pops did the best fades too, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's our best.
I mean, he was still. You want to talk about the best fade? We're going to jump into the next character now. My man Shades.
Oh yeah.
Shade.
That dude, he was tight.
What was his name?
Mad jealousy issues. Mad jealousy issues.
Right, but kind of respect that. Though.
Right, like
it's
when when Mariah and her daughter are eating at the table, and he's like just in the background staring at them.
See, I always felt like as it ended, Shades confessed that he still loved Mariah.
Yes.
Well, duh.
I
Yes.
felt that he never did.
What?
I felt
I want
that-
someone to love me as much as Shade loves.
That's what I'm saying.
Mariah. That's
Look
I
at
don't
me
think-
with jealousy the way that you're looking at her.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that. I still don't think he loved her.
You don't?
Shades loves power. Like, he loves power. And he sees her as a
Marcus and I are
blade
both
to
like,
power.
No, they loved each other.
No.
I don't know, man. I think like
Don't talk about mom and dad that way.
Right. I dug that couple. That was
I mean-
a couple, man.
like Shades was such a complex character because you hate him, but you also like you respect
I
him.
feel for him, honestly.
I do too.
Well, yeah, he stood up for at like the Oriental rug store, man. It was awesome.
And it was a situation where like Shades just loved Mariah more than Mariah loved Shades, in my opinion.
There's no way that he's that trigger happy if it's just for power.
Right.
And that dude was just like I also felt like he was probably the smartest character throughout the entire episode. Like he was the character who always seemed one step ahead
Yeah.
of
When
what
he was
really
thinking
happening.
straight.
Yes. Yes.
But he was also the most volatile character. Whenever
Yes.
anybody put some disrespect on
Oh,
Mariah's name,
He's You did.
right, immediately.
I mean, you and your aunt having a great night?
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya. I love that scene actually because he kept the same face for when he got shot.
That's
That's the one they
thing.
showed him
He
down
doesn't
on the
change faces.
when he showed him down on the ground with the bullet hole in his head. He's still like
Consistency.
still cracking a little joke there.
Yeah, I love Shades, man. I think the show doesn't kind
That was a
of
good group though. Shay and Comanche.
yeah Comanche.
Comanche.
Yeah,
Thomas
Comanche.
Jones.
Yeah, Comanche.
Jets. Bears. Former NFL running back.
Comanche was tight. I mean,
They were good. They were a good
yeah,
group.
yeah, they did. I mean, they were gay for the stay.
Well,
Again, character development.
That's right. That's right. And
I love
Marcus-
how Mariah kept sending Comanche off, like leave again.
Right. Bye.
I like when Comanche called out Shades. He's like, "You want some graduate shit or
Yeah.
what?"
Right.
He's
Right.
like, "What do you sleep with this old lady for, man?" And then I always felt like, yeah, I felt like Shades was jealous, but again, I feel like he was mostly like, he was manipulated by power. He wanted power. That's what Shades wanted.
He was
but,
plotting everyone's death around him, dude, except for Mariah.
but I felt like when
you can
Mariah's
see it in his
daughter
eyes.
showed up.
He's like, this. I'm gonna kill this.
I thought when Mariah's daughter showed up, Shades was kind of like, "I'm gonna trade you in for the newer model."
No,
like, you know?
because even who was it? Sugar. That's like, he's like, dude, she just took your spot. Like,
Oh,
when
yeah.
No, and he's staring at him like a crazy person. No, he wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about murdering her.
Maybe you wanted to upgrade to the different model.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you just can't let love lie.
Yeah,
But,
he's
like,
into that mature,
You know, you got this old vintage Mustang. You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It breaks down
It's
all
the bullet
time.
Mustang.
Gotta wax it every weekend.
Right, you got to work on, or you go get a brand new Mustang.
I love how we're like talking about this romance in like the same vein as like how Stella got her groove back. Exact same.
Yeah.
It's a parallel. It's like
Yeah.
the extended universe.
And moving on to Mariah.
She was stone cold.
And that's one thing that I love about this season too, is they gave you all the feels with Bushmaster. They made you get tied in with Shades. Like, you just didn't hate Shades the way you should. Or at
He
least for
felt
me.
bad with him because he's in a relationship with Mariah.
Right,
And
Mariah
then
is
they
the
give you Mariah,
who can't even keep a straight face when she's seeing her daughter for the first time in forever. Like, she
Yes.
can't even act like she cares
Oh,
when she's
dude.
in there.
She is, I mean, straight evil through
Very.
and through.
The prison scene, that initial prison scene indicates that, where she shanks everybody.
Oh yeah,
You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
that
and it
got
was
out of
like,
hand.
and I thought she was like getting
Got
ready
out
to
of
get hers, and that's another great thing about this season and what they've built on Netflix for the MCU is like, she was so manipulative and so evil. You were just like, I was on the edge of my seat like, you know, Andy Kaufman in professional wrestling or Ric Flair. Like, I just wanted to see her death so bad. I was just like, someone end her like this.
But that's again like the Batman Joker thing. It's like the the Joker always has these moments where you're like, oh man, I almost feel bad for him, and then he does something crazy like hits a pencil through someone's eye, and you're like, whoa, no, he's super evil.
Yeah.
Like she is super evil.
Yeah, two things. Like you guys made me think of like the prison shank stuff. Like when you were talking about that, that would be the greatest Golden Girls episode ever. Is if like Blanche went to prison and shanked everybody.
Because she would.
And then two, does Mariah not remind you of as evil, but like actually she's more evil than Fish in Gotham season 1
Yes.
by like a lot. But like but Fish is still evil. But
She's
like,
one of the most cold-hearted characters I've ever encountered, and that you know what I honestly liked about it is that she's a female.
Yes.
And she is a ball buster, and she doesn't care about anybody, and she will take out whoever she has to take out to get her next $1 million. Like she just doesn't. I mean, the fact that she's a woman and she's that terrifying, and that cold, is kind of rad.
Like, how could anybody vote for her though?
Can I drop some Golden
she's
Girls?
powerful.
Can I
She
drop
comes
some
off
Golden Girls
confident,
knowledge on
powerful.
you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
So do you know what Blanche's initials are?
No.
Bed. Blanche Eleanor Devereaux.
That's the best thing ever.
That's
I was
good
hoping to be
writing.
like Banff, like she had 2 middle names.
No, that's just good
That is
writing.
good writing.
So they make the slutty older lady's
Yeah.
initials spell out bed.
Yeah.
I mean
Thank you
that.
for being friends.
Slutty older ladies are the best. I mean, even though
That's going to lead our show next week. Slutty old ladies
By
are the
the
best.
we talked about it, the lady who offers Luke Cage coffee, she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
come inside for a cup of coffee? And he's like, oh my god.
And she wasn't messing around.
She was
That
not.
woman perfect.
She was like,
she was like,
you look
I
like
could
a snack.
See, I could see this happening. Like, I could see this.
Right.
Like,
This actually leads into something I wanted to bring up. So towards the end, when Luke is kind of, he, as you're saying, he's like teetering. He's realizing that if he doesn't step in and almost become a crime boss to eliminate crime, and there's just going to be a war in the streets, so he has to almost make a deal with, with the devil, for the lack of a better term, to say
Mariah.
like, hey, I will allow you to do this,
but if
but
this
you
happens,
leave these streets alone.
and I haven't seen the rest, so don't tell me. But if this happens, aren't they gearing towards a showdown between Misty and Luke?
It seems
Yes,
that way.
and Misty even says to him in the last episode, spoiler alert, Marcus, if I have to take you out, I will.
Okay,
And,
okay, because I'm on Misty's side.
Yeah, and, well, Misty's a badass.
Yes.
We'll get into her next.
Yes.
But, Mariah even alludes to it in the court scene where she's referencing Katrina, and the judge is like, I'm offended because my whole family was there. But she basically is like, my father built these walls to protect
Right.
this city, and there's a flood coming.
Right.
And if you get rid of me, like, I'm the only person who can keep it all together. And the second you get rid of me, like, mass destruction will happen, basically. And she set it up with Luke, inheriting the club and taking on the position of power that he has. She knows as soon as he gets that power, like, stuff's gonna go awry.
Right.
And so even like through the grave, she is setting up Harlem for just total chaos.
Well, and then also you see the way her daughter had changed throughout.
Her daughter is taking on her personality.
Yes.
Yeah, she
Yes.
absolutely is. As you see the way that they develop
The
her
kiss
character.
of death, like, I'm not
She's gonna
about
be-
that
she's gonna be
though.
the-
Do you want to know? Like,
Dude.
I just wanted Mariah to die so bad. I was like,
Okay, and maybe I missed it. Maybe I was like, maybe this was a moment where I just wasn't paying close enough attention. But when she kisses her with the poison lipstick, it's like, is that not on your lips the whole time?
well, I was also thinking maybe
Like,
it
you
was
should be
something with
dead.
like what she rubbed behind her ears. But
You should
What-
put some Carmax on.
what I was
That
disappointed
kiss,
in,
it indicates it's the lipstick. That was a poison ivy
it
moment.
was the lipstick.
It was the doctor.
Here was what I thought.
It was a
I
doctor.
can't remember her name right now. Ivy. Pamela Ivy.
Yeah.
Here's what really needed to happen in that scene. Luke Cage needed to go to prison again.
Yeah.
Like, because he was the last one with her, and then that builds like Misty Knight, who is saying, leave her alone.
Mhm.
And then he goes behind her back to see her, and then she dies when he's there. Like, why was he not in prison? Like
Right.
that's what I thought was leading up to. But I guess that's like simple writing.
But he's functioning outside of the law, and that's what makes it so complicated. And that's what gives you season 3, is that it's going to be complicated. Because he has to function outside of the law. Misty is basically saying, if you function outside of the law, in a way that I see you heading towards, I will come at you.
That's right.
So there's going to be this, I mean, if there's not a big showdown between those two in season 3, I will be absolutely
But they have to do
astonished.
Defenders season 2 before, right?
No, Defenders isn't getting another season.
No.
Chelsea,
Alright, Luke Cage
Chelsea,
season 3.
Chelsea sent in some.
I was like, look, this is BS. Have you read the comics?
This
You guys
isn't the
messed up.
comics. This
And the
isn't
funniest-
canon.
The funniest thing is that in the Defenders, in the comics, everybody's in it. Everybody. Except
Right.
the people they picked.
Right.
Like, Silver Surfer. Like, I think I even wrote it down like,
Bendis,
in my notes.
Bendis wrote a Defenders series with these characters. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was not my favorite series,
That's
but
true.
believe it or not, they made Danny Rand seem like a jackass. But
Yeah, I wrote it all down. Doctor Strange, Hulk.
Are we going to move on to Misty Knight, or do you need a hand?
We need Misty Knight in our life.
I like that.
That
I
was
like
clever.
that joke. I think what we're going to do first is take a break. Move on to episode 2, part 2
Oh,
of Luke
Me
Cage.
too.
Yeah, I mean we're rushing up on an hour now.
Okay.
I think we got a little bit more to talk. Luke Cage,
We
get
have
into news
to.
of the week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Let's do it.
go into part 2. All right, this is the Heroes by the Pint. We are going to check out of this episode and come right back at it, part 2.